Alright, let's go ahead and get started. In this video, I'm going to be talking about demand. Keep in mind that this is a PowerPoint, and you can slow it down, you can rewind it, you can stop, whatever you need to do. Alright, let's go ahead and start with demand. We start with competitive markets, and a market is any arrangement that brings buyers and sellers together. Okay, and in this case, the buyers are the demanders. Keep in mind that a market can range anything from the stock market all the way down to a flea market, wherever you have buyers and sellers coming together. A market might be a physical place, and it might be a virtual place. Hold on. Where groups of buyers and sellers spread around the world who never meet. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that. A competitive market has so many buyers and so many sellers that no individual buyer or seller can influence the price. It's not like everybody or one person or one small group can buy all the cars and resell them at any price. So that would be impossible. Alright, let's go ahead and start with this picture. If you notice, right here you have a store, and right here you have a restaurant. These markets are known as brick and mortar. In other words, it is a physical place. They have products. In this case, you have somebody selling you shoes. In this case, somebody selling you a good and offering you a service. And a virtual place is something like Amazon, where you buy things on the internet. And something like Walmart can be both a physical and a virtual place. I know I purchased some items online, and then I have to go pick them up. Alright, let's look at a demand. Quantity demand is the amount of a good, service, or resource that people are willing to and able to buy during a specified price. Now notice these words right here, willing and able to buy. That is very important because you're going to be hearing that throughout demand and supply and the equilibrium. Willing and able, like, oh, I want to buy a brand new car. Am I able to? Well, not right now. So willing and able, meaning you have the money to or the credit to go get something right now. The quantity demanded is an amount per unit of time. For example, the amount per day or per month. Now let's look at the law of demand. I'm sorry, I'm a little sick. The law of demand is something that you have to know. Like, for example, right here, are there things remaining the same? That should sound familiar. Okay, you gotta know that. If the price of a good rises, the quantity demanded of that good decreases. Meaning, you just have so much money. We talked about scarcity already. As the price goes up, you have less money to buy other things. So sometimes it's like, you know what, I really didn't need that after all. It's like, I want to go to the movies, and then it's like, okay, wait a minute, it's my wife and I almost $20 to go in and $20 of popcorn. We'll want to stop and eat somewhere. You're talking $60, $70 already. So no, you know what, let's not do that. If the price of a good falls, the quantity demanded of that good increases. Let's look at demand schedule and demand curve. I'm going to be talking about them, and in the next frame I'll show you an example. Let's look at the demand is the relationship between the quantity demanded and the price of a good when all other influence on buying plans remain the same. If this doesn't make sense right now, don't worry. I'm going to be showing you in a graph what I'm talking about. Demand is illustrated by a demand schedule and a demand curve. Now right here, you see this right here? This is a demand schedule. Right here it tells you like the price dollars per bottle. Like a bottle of water is $2. And if water is at $2, that's pretty high. Quantity demanded is 8.5 million every time it's at $2. And the law of demand says that as the price goes down, notice the price of the bottle goes down, you'll notice that the people want more of it, okay? So this is the demand schedule, and this is the demand curve. The demand schedule shows you the price and the quantity demanded, and the graph is the demand curve. So a demand schedule is the least of quantities demanded at each price, and the curve is just showing you the relationship between the demand and the price, and it's graphed for you. Changes in demand. Why are there changes in demand? Okay, there's a change in the quantity, and these things influence the price. Okay, like the key reasons for a change in the demand. Number one, the price of related goods, and I'll talk all about these things. Expected future prices, income, expected future income, credit, number of buyers, and preferences. So let's go ahead and start with a substitute, price of related goods. A substitute is a good that can be consumed in place of another. Notice this is very important, the second bullet. The demand for a good increases if the price of one of the substitute rises, and the demand for a good decreases if the price of one of the substitute falls. Now let me give you an example right here. Okay, Aunt Jemima's original syrup. Oh, I love this stuff. And notice at the price, $4.49. But right now we have a partial government shutdown, and you have a lot of government employees that are not getting paid. They cannot afford syrup, yet the kids want pancakes. So instead of buying syrup, as it says, if the price increases, they're going to get a substitute. Well, if you notice, the K-roll is a substitute, corn syrup, okay? This is the good, this is the substitute. As the price goes up, you're going to see that they're going to be buying substitutes. So now let's look at a complement. A complement is a good that is consumed with another good. Okay, so make sure that you write this down. The demand for a good increases, and I'll be showing you that in a little bit. Like, for example, this is a good, Frosted Flakes. A complement is something that you need to eat your Frosted Flakes with. What do you need? Milk. All right? So milk is a complement. It's not a substitute. Okay? It is a complement. It's like when somebody buys a new cell phone. What do you need? Like a good case. That would be a complement, or the screensaver. So, or the screen, whatever you call that plastic thing. So your screen does not break. Or you need a cell phone plan. All those are complements. Now let's look at expected future prices. A rise in the expected future price of a good increases the current demand for the good. In other words, if you think that the price is going to go up in the future, you're going to buy it now. A fall in the expected future price of a good decreases current demand for that good. So let me use gasoline as an example. Let's say that you pass by Stripes, and Stripes is $1.79 right now. Let's say that they reported, let's say today is Thursday, and they said that by Saturday, the price of gasoline is going to go up to $2.88. That's the expected future price. It's going to be a high price. So what do? You want to make sure that you fill up your tank with gas before the price goes up. Therefore, the demand for gasoline goes up right now. But let's say that it is reported that gasoline is going to go down to $1.45. The demand for gasoline right now is going to go down. Why? I think I can make it to Saturday with the gas I have. That way I can fill up the tank with $1.45. And that is expected future prices. Now let's look at income. A normal good. I'm going to be talking about normal goods and inferior goods. Income has a lot to do with demand. Like, for example, if you have money right now, you can afford to buy things. If you do not have money, you have to do without. Okay? Now, let's say, for example, you have a laptop right here. Okay? There's a demand for laptops. But let's pretend, and we're going to use this as an example. The black line right here, is the demand for laptops. Now, let's say that your income is going to decrease. Therefore, whenever there is a drop in demand, notice how the line shifts to the left. Why? There is no demand for laptops right now. You ask all these government employees that are without a paycheck, they're not buying laptops. Okay? But wait a few more weeks when the government's over and or the partial government shutdown is over and everybody has all this money. Guess what? You're going to be having an increase in laptops. So this is what your income does. And we're talking about normal good, like a laptop. Now let's look at an inferior good. And we're going to use this nasty looking car as an example. All right. Let's say that the demand for, who are the buyers for this car? Let's say it's the cheapest car out there being produced and sold in the United States. If you're an 18-year-old male, you don't want to buy this. You don't want to drive it to high school, because if you want to pick up chicks, very few are going to go with you. If you're a girl and you're going to pick up your friends, they don't care. Okay? But guys, they're conscious. They know they're not going to pick up chicks with this. Okay, so let's use an inferior good as an example. And let's say that the majority of the buyers are males, high school students who work at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, minimum wage, and this is all they can afford. Dad, can you buy me a car? No, but I'll pay for your gas or I'll pay for your insurance. This is all that the student can afford. Therefore, let's look at an inferior good. Let's say that this is the demand, and the law of demand says as the price goes down, so does the demand goes up. So let's say that there is an increase in income. The demand will go down. Why? Because it's an inferior good. High school students, males, are going to say, you know what? My income went up. I don't need to buy this kind of car. I can afford something better. Okay? And what happens when the income goes down? Well, more seniors in high school are going to be buying this. Keep in mind, income increases, people don't want to buy an inferior good. If you can afford a better car, you'll get it. All right, let's look at expected future income and credit. When you're expecting to get an increase in money, that's or you're going to be getting loans easier at, your credit score goes up and you're able to get credit, the demand for some good increases. Like, let's look, please write this down, okay? And let's use this as an example. This is where you live. It's a nasty looking trailer home, but this is all you can afford. But let's pretend that you're going to be getting some money in. You're going to be getting a bonus. And future expected income, now you can afford that nice little house for your wife or your kids, or ladies, for your husband if he's not working. Okay, but the bottom line here is expected future income. You can already start thinking of something like this if you're going to be having a big bonus. And it's like some kids, hey, Dad, can I have this? Wait for the income to come in, the tax income. All right, now let's look at the number of buyers. The number of buyers also affect the demand. And let's use this as an example. Let's use the population of 2017 as an example. Let's look at New York City, 8.6 million versus Brownsville, 183,299. The more people, the more of a demand. And let's use this hotel as an example. I actually stayed at the Quality Inn at Queens in New York. And let's look at what population does. Like, let's see the front of the building. You can park 1, 2, 3 cars. And not here because there's a fire hydrant. Don't worry, there's parking in the back. You go back here and it has 6 parking spaces. That's it. Look at any hotel here in Brownsville. You're going to see that they'll have 30 to 1,000 parking spaces because we don't have the population that browser does. Okay, so now let's look at preferences.